So we're going to start early. First things, thank you so much for coming to our session. You honor us. We know you have a choice, and we appreciate you coming to our session. And in the unlikely event of an emergency, this room is equipped with 2 exits, one in the forward cabin and one over the wing. I also have to read this to y'all to take care of some business. Our executive producer is requiring me to do this. We've got to pay the bills. Welcome, everyone. Before we get started, I have a few quick housekeeping notes to cover about the rotating content you will see on the monitors during the session. First, if you enjoy the discussion and want to connect with us, scan the QR codes on the slides with our headshots. This will help you to quickly find us on LinkedIn. Next, we want to know what you think. Use the QR code on the survey slide to share feedback for the session. Give us high marks, please. Lastly, WGU's e-newsletter called Ignited features news about innovations, industry developments, and topics like we're discussing here at ASU GSV. So scan that QR code on the final slide to sign up for our newsletter. Everyone who signs up will be entered into a drawing at the end of the session for a $50 Amazon gift card. Can't not beat that, can y'all? But you have to be present to win. So, all right, so thank you. So should we go ahead and get started? As I said, I'm Darren Hobbs. I'm joined here with 2 of my esteemed colleagues, Kimberly and Jeannie. And again, we want to thank you so much for coming to see us talk about the WGU Achievement Wallet platform, how we made it happen, all that good stuff. To give you a little bit of background, I think this is my 3rd time coming to ASU GSV to talk about this topic. The first couple of times we just talked about it, and maybe we showed some still slides of it. Today we're doing a live demo, so fingers crossed. We could not have done this work without partnership, collaboration, funding. So we want to thank Lilly and Walmart who have funded this effort. Not to mention, we want to thank our employer, WGU, for allowing us to go on this journey. And everything we do at WGU is for our students. And that's been guiding our vision this whole time. That and the American Workforce Policy Advisory Board work that we did 3 years ago, first called the Interoperable Learner Record, now referred to as Learning and Employment Records. So what we've done here at WGU, working with many of our partners, is we've created this platform in order to help our students and everyone understand the value of learning, understand where they can go with their learning, what choices do they have, and what's possible, even things they hadn't even dreamed of. We wanted to be able to show that to them. Our mission at WGU is to change lives for the better by creating pathways to opportunity. So thematically, I think you're going to see this in the live demo and then the conversations that we have about using open and available data sources. One metaphor that I'll give you to think about as we talk, that I talk with our partners about, is that we're not quilting, we're weaving. What we're trying to do is allow individuals to create, understand, add to the tapestry of their lives so that they can see clearly how their unique skills and talent brand fits into context for employment opportunities and education opportunities. We now live in an age where you can no longer just sit idly. Upskilling, reskilling, new skilling, this is a reality for all of us, but especially those younger than us that are coming after us. So we wanted to give them a tool by which they could loom their tapestry. Kim wants to give a little more information on this, I believe.
Thank you so much. And I'm flagging to the folks in the back, our executive producer. Thank you so much for switching the slide. Unlike Darren, I'm not going to be able to stand. I am bound to this chair by many wires. And I'm going to be driving the live demonstration today. So I hope everyone can hear me. And if I wasn't bound by many wires, I would be standing. I want to, like Darren, thank you all so much for joining our session today. WGU and Credential Engine are thrilled to be presenting on the evolution of our joint effort to bring learning and employment records, credential transparency, skills-based practices, and career exploration to life. Darren and I were both here last year presenting, and we are happy to provide an update on the work that has been done since then. And we are equally happy to be joined by Jeannie, representing the power of linked open data when paired with an achievement wallet that can further help learners take action on their skills and on their credentials. Nearly every action we take results in a piece of data. Our search histories, our likes, the opportunities that we pursue, where we're located, how often we travel, the services that we might need, our employment choices, and our own pursuits, our information consumption. So much of our personal data is aggregated, plugged into algorithms, and leveraged to support the information that is being provided to inform us and drive our own decision-making. Yet, we don't have the same control or ability to aggregate our own data, our digital records, to best understand our true value to the labor market. The burden on doing this is on us, which creates significant inequities and barriers to accessing opportunity. We believe that students should have the same ability to take action on their own data, skills, achievements, to efficiently and equitably connect to opportunity. Darren?
Thank you. So this is what our agenda looks like that we're going to have to move through in 37 minutes and 3 seconds. So hang on, because we got to go really fast, and that's not natural for me. I'm Southern, so I like to speak slowly. And I hate sitting down, so if I periodically just stand up, indulge me. I can't see faces in the back, and that bothers me. So let's jump right in. I think at this point we go to the live demo. So this is the WGU Achievement Wallet. I do want to point out that this actually started as the Indiana Achievement Wallet. The Indiana Achievement Wallet is still a thing. We just decided it was finally to a point where we were ready to go ahead and introduce it to all of our students as well, so we've white labeled it. The platform upon which this has been built by our tech vendor, IQ4, is available to be white labeled as anything, including perhaps a public good wallet just simply called My Achievement Wallet. But we felt like it was important to do a platform-based approach to this because we recognize that credentials, experiences, skills needed to be contextualized. So that's what we've done. Kim has been one of our participants and beta testers as we have tested this with our learners. So what you're going to see is her wallet. And she started by uploading her resume, which then parsed that resume based upon her job history or education, and then made some assumptions about skills that Kim got to go through and select and add to her wallet. Then, as a participant and a WGU employee, we awarded her WGU credentials, micro-credentials, that we actually do award to our students, but for Kim, they're for demonstration purposes only. I think all of them are marked that way now, finally. But those also added skills to her profile. And so as any new credential flows in and becomes available, it just adds more information to the individual's profile, which then unlocks different opportunities. So Kim's already done all of that. So she goes to her profile page, which is just her quick at-a-glance. You can see that she has 209 skills total, and they're divided into 3 functional areas. They're defined here: specialized technology and essential workforce skills. Right underneath that, you're going to see that large square big T. That's her skills profile. Now, if you're having a reaction to the T, we all do, we're looking at getting that changed so that the individual can choose how to look at their skills profile in a way that's most comfortable for them, meaningful for them. But this is where we started. You can see all of those squares represent those 209 skills. As Kim hovers over them, she can see exactly what they are. She can also then filter that profile and show what her skills looks like in terms of a job role. Kim, can you show that? So Kim's already selected 6 different job roles. She can choose anything that she wants, but she's going to go ahead and select one. And look, her skills profile change. The solid blocks represent the skills that she matches for that job role. The candy striped blocks are her missing skills. That's her skills gap. That's important information for individuals to understand how well they're aligned to a job role and what do they need to gain in order to better align to a job role. And then lastly, where can they go and get that training? We're going to show you that as well. On the left-hand side is just Kim's summary about herself, her picture, her LinkedIn profile. Underneath that, all of this was taken from her resume. You see her education reflected back to her work experience. Lastly on this, I skipped over the top 10 skills. Wow. So the machine, the robot that ingested all of Kim's information is recommending to her her top 10 skills. She has the ability to change that up. If she disagrees with the recommendation, she can actually select and highlight the skills that she wants to highlight, specifically if she's looking to target an employer. Underneath that is a portfolio section. This is important. If you've worked in higher ed, portfolio is nothing new to you, but we wanted this portfolio because it allows Kim and any other learner worker to put in evidence, assets that support self-attested skills. It's one thing, like on a resume, to say, hey, I can do this, but now we give people the ability to actually provide evidence to back it up, especially when it is self-attested, meaning, by definition, it's not verified by anybody. Kim can at least provide this. Within the portfolio, it supports your standard file formats, documents, images, links, audio clips, whatever you can think of can flow into there. Jumping to the skills section of the wallet, this is where all 209 skills are listed out. That's a lot of information, and over time, it will just continue to grow. So how do we let Kim manage that list? She can filter it. Between those three work areas, she can also just look at her verified versus self-attested skills. But the reason we provide this information is very important. We want individuals to start learning how to speak employer speak. Employers speak the language of skills. So now we give Kim the ability to look at all of her skills, understand her skills at a very granular level. She's clicked into ability to speak in public. She gets a nice tidy definition there. She also sees more granular skill details. The fact that she can check and deselect those individual details is important. This allows Kim to communicate. I'm comfortable with this aspect of public speaking. I'm not comfortable here. I'm kind of weak there. So she simply telegraphs that by making those selections. Similarly, on the proficiency tab, she can indicate at 4 levels where she thinks she's at in terms of that skill mastery, ranging from novice to expert. If an outcome of learning through a verified credential is actually assessed at a proficiency level, that can be locked so that she can't change it. The sources shows where the information is coming from. Here it's been tagged to her education and her resume. This is what the robot found. It's how it found the skill to begin with, and she added the portfolio, which is why you see that. On these skills, you'll see some of them have check marks, others do not. That's how we indicate which ones are coming from a verified source versus not. When she clicks into one of the verified sources, she can see that it's actually coming from a credential by selecting that Sources tab. You'll also notice the Learning Resources section. This is where we're actually able to show an individual, if you want to improve on this skill, here's opportunities for you. In this demonstration, you're going to see just WGU information. It's our wallet, so of course we're going to show that. But no, seriously, we started there because at WGU we have defined within the Credential Engine repository all of our credentials, all of our courses, all of our competencies, and all of our skills. So we're trying to demonstrate successfully that we can consume that information and reflect it back to the individual. So any learning opportunity, though, can show up by interfacing with a catalog. And we have Jeannie here who's going to talk to us about Credential Engine here in a bit. Kim is looking into these particular, where are we at?
Oh, I was looking into it.
All right. So here you can see that this is out on Credential Engine. And it's linked, so she can go out and see all of the rich information that's found out there in the repository. Kim, am I missing anything here?
So on the left-hand side of the screen, this is where you have the ability to customize your top 10 skills list. If I, for instance, want my interpersonal skills to be higher on the list, I can just manually move it. I can also click into any one of them and replace a skill that's not on this list. I can scroll down. I can see another visual of my skills T against the occupations that I've pre-selected. I can also look into recommended skills. These are skills that are adjacent to the ones that were parsed from my resume or from any of the credentials that came in. If one was missing, I can just simply add it here by selecting Add. I could also go to the top of the screen. I can search and add skills from the top of the screen.
What I like about that recommend skills is that, the last time I wrote my resume, I don't know how to come up with what skills I have. I don't know that I have skills. So this now tells someone, hey, this is what we found based upon your work experience, but you know what? Here's some other skills that you probably have, just like Kim pointed out, they're adjacent. And so what an aha moment. Now I can add that and I know how to talk about myself. Credentials, let's jump over there. So if you've heard about digital wallets, which you probably have, this is the wallet portion of the platform. Right now it's IQ4's wallet, but we're working with them so that in the future, any wallet, your Apple wallet, if you use Apple devices, could potentially then be a part of this platform. So could your Google wallet, a Velocity Network wallet, could be integrated into the platform. We want individuals to have full choice over how, and personalization over how they use this platform. In this section of the wallet, Kim is showing us that we have two areas. We have where credentials flow in, and then we have a management section. This is where the individual gets to control their record. It is their record of achievements. So we show Kim, here's credentials that are being offered to you. You don't have to accept them into your wallet if you don't want, but we're going to give you some abilities here, not the least of which is the ability to dispute a credential. I'm the former registrar at Western Governors, and sometimes registrars make mistakes. So if I accidentally issued the wrong credential, or if one of our students happens to find a misspelling, they can now let us know, hey, there's something about this credential that's a little off, so I'm flagging it. Let's get it resolved before they accept it. Kim can expand into these credentials and really learn about them before she accepts them in. We show a description, who the issuer is, and the award date. By clicking View Details, it takes her out to the system of record. We use Canvas badges. And here she can see a lot more information about the credential, including earning criteria. This is really important for employers in particular, and potentially for transfer credit. What do you have to do to get this credential? A lot of rich information here. We show our competency demonstration highlights. We have an accreditation blurb. And then lastly, all of those skills coming in from this credential. These are rich skill descriptors. We'll talk a little bit more about that here in a moment. Each of those are hyperlinked. They go out to WGU's definition in the RSD format that's available through our public skills libraries. And here, there's a lot more information about the skill. Now, this was designed primarily to be machine readable and actionable. It's human consumable. You can look at it, you can read it, but all of the information found within this RSD schema is designed to provide intelligence, not just to our platform, but to ATS systems, HRIS systems. Any system that can consume a digital credential can now harvest this information and use the information for some smart analytics, some BI logic, like aligning candidates to job roles. All of this now becomes available. Going back to her wallet, if she's satisfied with it, she can go down to the Manage section. These are the credentials Kim has accepted into her wallet. And we give the user a little more functionality here. We can show the status, which changes from new or disputed to active. We can also show if it's been revoked, or we can show if it's expiring or expired, like for an IT credential that has an expiration date, or when your driver's license flows in that has an expiration date. We can show that. Also, the action toggle over there, public-private. This is how Kim can decide what she wants to make available for discovery and search. So if an employer is looking for someone with a specific skill set, all of the information found within Kim's credentials, she can decide, does she want that to be found via a search function or not? And then I think we give her the ability to delete the credential if she decides that it's no longer relevant. Kim, am I missing anything here?
The only other thing I would mention on this page is we have a variety of formats where an individual can add a credential. It's up here at the very top of the screen. Most of the credentials that you see here in my wallet are synced to my Canvas Badges account. And that is this first option here. So if any credential goes into Canvas, it will automatically flow into my wallet. And again, we are able to do this with any partner who has given us the ability to sync to the wallet. I can also parse a document. I can enter credential details manually, and I can import a link. These are all ways for me to add credentials into my wallet that are self-asserted information. This is a very manual process. We obviously want verified credentials, so either having the ability to sync to digital credentials vendor's platform, or the last option is pasting a JSON file, which allows us to bring in verified credentials as well.
All of the credentials that you've seen in this wallet section, because there are credentials for this demonstration, are in the Open Badges data format, tied back to Credential Engine for additional information. Our partner, Ivy Tech, through the Indiana Achievement Wallet, is issuing e-diplomas, digital diplomas. They are also tied back to Credential Engine around all of their competencies from those associate degree credentials. And through the Indiana Achievement Wallet, through a very robust partnership between Parchment, IQ4, our tech vendor, and Ivy Tech, those credentials now surface for our Ivy Tech students within the Indiana Achievement Wallet. All right, let's go to career pathways. This is the fun part of the platform. This is what allows an individual to go on a journey of discovery. What's possible? Where do I fit? How do I fit? Where can I go next? Kim's already selected up to 6 different job roles, and you can see that they're very different. Why did she choose those, and why are we showing them? The blue and black circles around each of those job roles is a hint. The black is where her skills match. The blue is her skills gap. It may not be obvious right at first, but the important thing to observe here is that Kim's resume and her education has been in kind of a liberal arts foundation work, this, that, and t'other. We've awarded her business credentials. But look, she has skills that are appropriate to a kindergarten teacher and a computer engineer. That's the transferable nature of skills. And that is more powerful than I think anyone truly understands, is that no one necessarily needs to start from scratch. That there's always something that you have done that probably crosses over into a different job role, and so you can start from there. We wanted to point that out to an individual, that skills are transferable in nature, and you should be aware of that. This gives you now the possibility to not just pursue one direction in life, but to consider all the possibilities. Anything that piques your interest, just go look at it, see where you fit. Kim looks like she's mostly aligned to marketing analyst, so she's going to select that. So now you can see that little slide that came out on the left-hand side. We're going to give her the ability first to set her location. She can choose the state in which she lives. She can choose the state right next door because she lives on the border, or maybe she's moving. Maybe she is part of a military family and she's relocating. She can choose now where she wants to look, and when she sets a geolocation, we are able to reflect back to her some information that you'll see down below that is specifically about that particular area. The first thing is we provide a nice description of what this job role is. We give her a little video about the job. We show her skills overlap. She's got 15 missing skills. If she clicks into those, she can see what they are. And then you can see the training resources. You can see that some of them have numbers, like digital marketing has 6 training resources. Again, this is where we can show an individual, if you have a skills gap and you want to go get training, here's where you can go get it. Then, coming back, we remind her of what her skills T looks like. I think that's what's next on this. I'm going to let you talk about the recommended learning pathways here in a moment. So we remind her of her skills profile. Then underneath that, we start to show her some information that individuals find very helpful. The types of credentials people in this job role typically hold in the state of New Jersey looks like a bachelor's degree is the norm. We can show employment projections. Is this job growing or is it declining? How much money can I make? So we show the income distribution for this area. Lastly, we show live job roles. These are employers that are actually hiring right now in this moment. These are all live job roles. She can click into any one of those. We'll pop her out to where the job has been posted. She can read more about it. If she's interested, she can click that Apply Now button. But before she does, she might choose to curate a record that she wants to share with the employer. She does that by going to Share My Wallet. Here we give her an almost overwhelming amount of granular control. Through all 4 areas of the platform, she can choose to include or not include what she wants to provide by way of a record. This gives her, again, a way to really hone in on what she wants to communicate to this employer. She simply toggles those switches, and then we give her a unique URL, which will allow her to take that and embed it into a cover letter. She can put it on her resume. If there's an area in the job application that she wants to slip that in, she can. Anyone that clicks the link will be taken right back to her wallet, just like you've been seeing. But they'll only see what she's decided for them to see, and nothing more. This is a nice way to allow Kim to really, again, hone in on that particular employer, that particular job. We're also currently working in partnership with Smart Resume so that that same curated record can be produced in a more recognizable resume format, but all of which still links back and is verifiable. Kim, I feel like I've missed something important in all of this.
The only other thing I would mention here is that right now what you're seeing is sort of like 6 spokes off of a wheel image around career pathways, and this is really just the beginning of the career pathways work. What I don't have here to show you right now, and what if anyone's interested, I can show you what mock-ups of this might look like in the future. We're working on adding both educational pathways and occupational pathways to this, so you will see sort of the progression, job-to-job progression over time for an individual. You'll be able to see transferable skills between, say, the marketing analyst, as you can see here, and a marketing manager. You'll be able to see that. And you will also be able to see educational steps along the way. So for instance, if you need to gain a certain credential to be qualified for a specific occupation, you'll be able to see that here. You'll be able to dive into the credential and see all of the information related to the description and the skills that we are pulling from Credential Engine.
So that concludes the live demo. We went really fast. I feel like I missed really important stuff, but we're at 14 minutes, 56 seconds left in this session, so we got to move on. So Kim's going to pull this back up. We're going to go to, I think I've got a couple of more things to talk about. So participating in the LER ecosystem, how did we do this? How can you do this? It's all about using open data standards. It's about using open data repositories, finding the information that is relevant to how you, the user story that you want to create and how you can help someone tell that story, which is why we have our esteemed colleague here. She's going to speak to you in a moment, provided that I leave her enough time, about leveraging those open data repositories to, remember I talked about a tapestry, weave it all together to show a clear way for an individual to move forward. So what you saw today, we're using CTDL, linked open data from Credential Engine. We're using our rich skill descriptors via our open skills libraries, and we're using other sources like ONET, National Labor Exchange, and Career One Stop, not to mention our open badges data standard. So at this point, for a little bit of a deeper dive into why open data repositories, I'd like to turn it over to Jeannie to talk to us about credentialing.
Thank you. That was a fantastic demonstration, wasn't it? It was awesome.
Oh, thank you.
And as Kim said, it really is all about the data, right? So I'm going to talk about some kind of nerdy stuff here. But for those of you who may not know about Credential Engine, we are a nonprofit. Our mission is to map the credential landscape, and so everyone can have access to education and career pathways, and we do that through programs, and we also do that through open technologies. I'm going to focus on those open technologies in my few minutes here. And it's really important. What we were seeing there is really kind of a full chain of valuable information. I mean, think about it. You know, credentials get created, and they end up with the registrar, but here we're freeing up that data so individuals can have access to that data and utilize it. But to make that possible, you have to have the data to do it, right? You have to be willing to participate. It's kind of a team sport. You need to participate in that. You have to be willing to make data available. And when I'm talking about Credential Engine, I also want you to know I'm not talking about personally identifiable information. I'm talking about that abstract information that's critical to our learners to understand what their opportunities are. And so what we do at Credential Engine is we develop a language. It is called the Credential Transparency Description Language. We call it CTDL for short. And having that common language is really important. And what it does, it gives us people a way to understand things, but it also gives our computers, right, and you know, AI, the right kind of data and the understanding of that data, so then we can utilize it the right way. So that's what we're about at Credential Engine with our technologies, our solutions to be able to share that open data through open technologies, and foundational to that is a credential transparency description language. And with that said, you know, what we want to do is you had the really fun part, and the sexy part was seeing that demo, but again, you have to have that data behind it, and we want to make sure that all that data is there, whether it's occupational skills or education and training skills or maybe self-attested skills. We want to make sure that data is available in a format that we can understand and that machines can use in the right way and give that to the individual in their wallets. So we also at Credential Engine, as a part of our open technologies, have this thing called the Credential Registry. And the name is a little bit misleading because there's a lot more data in there than just credentials. But think about it this way. The value of credentials is only there if there's adjacent data to that. What are the skills for that credential? What are the jobs for which that credential needs to prepare for? All that kind of data is covered with the CTDL and with the Credential Registry. So we want to have that full chain of value and make the tools available for all of you to participate and make this kind of data accessible and reusable and valuable, as you saw with this demo, so you could have that for your students as well. This gives you an idea of some of the breadth of the coverage of the CTDL, and there could be a whole lot more circles on this slide, but you know, I was trying to keep it a little less busy. But it gives you an idea where you could even describe the support services that you offer to your students, which is critical. The financial assistance, the transfer value of those opportunities, you know, for your students. So there's a breadth and a depth of the data and the granularity of the data that's valuable to everyone in these ecosystems, both on the learning side and on the working side. We really have to have both and bring them all together. So we want to enable those learners to have success through this data. And you can check out the data in the Credential Registry through a tool called the Credential Finder. It's not a student guidance system. It's not really meant to compete with any kind of products out there, but it just, like, if I just sat up here and talked about it, you'd be like, what is she talking about, right? So this way you could actually see it. So when you're at the credential finder, literally everything you're seeing is the CTDL. Every filter, everything is defined in the CTDL, and it's machine readable. And if you're really a techie kind of nerdy kind of person, you can even see the raw data. So when you go to this thing called the detail page, you'll see an option to look at the raw data in the registry. So you're seeing the CTDL in action, and this is what is in part powering that application that you were just looking at. That data is in the Credential Registry. And of course, we want everyone to participate in this. We have all kinds of tools available to be utilized to publish your data as CTDL and publish to the web and to the Credential Registry. We have options that range from an API to spreadsheets, to bulk uploads. And of course, we're also working on AI-assisted publishing options as well. More to come on that in 2024. That is super exciting. And we have a Credential Registry guidance site where you can learn about how you can participate in this and get your data in the Credential Registry and utilize that data that's in the Credential Registry.
Okay, so thank you. Sorry I didn't leave you more time. The clock is ticking down, so I'm going to talk a lot faster now. So real quick, rich skill descriptors. This is a schema that our esteemed colleagues and colleague, Casey Thorne, our Director of Skills Architecture in the Skills Architecture Department, in collaboration with others, they developed the schema in which we can take skills category labels and put them into context. This is important because employers often say you must be proficient in oral and written communication, but that's different based upon an ER nurse, an air traffic controller, a computer engineer that needs to communicate both internally and with external audiences. The RSD allows you to do that. All right, and then here, scan that QR code because this is where our libraries of all the skills we have defined live, and they are publicly available, free to use. You can use skills to get started. You can skills to nominate your job descriptions. You can skills to nominate your syllabus, your course learning outcomes. However you want to use it, please reference these skills. All right, now Kim, tell us about the results.
Excellent. With over 170,000 students and over 300,000 graduates, student value and feedback is very important to us. It's of the highest importance to us. And while digital backpacks have been around for ages, we wanted to ensure that the Achievement Wallet was going to be of the utmost value. So we performed 2 beta tests. We had participants included graduates and they included undergraduates. And the first beta was aimed at students who had micro-credentials that they were earning along their degree journey. And the second beta focused on students with micro-credentials that, or who did not have micro-credentials associated with their degree journey. And in the first beta, we focused on our IT programs, and then in the second beta, we actually included a number of programs at WGU. The first beta, we had 1,346 students volunteer to participate. The second beta, we had 2,221 students volunteer to participate. In the first one, we had 552 students respond to the survey feedback form. In the second one, we had 491 students respond to the survey feedback form. So that was a robust amount of information that we were gaining from students. And one quick note before I go into the results from that survey is that while not every single student responded to every single question, we did have no less than 89% of students respond to every single question. So just something to keep in mind when you're looking at the results. So as you can see here, the results were very encouraging. We had 88% of learners finding value and having their career and their education information in one place. We had 78% of learners agreeing that seeing the gaps between existing and missing skills clarified how they qualify for a job. And then we also had 75% of learners expecting that the Achievement Wallet will enable them to advance in their careers. We actually also had another question that's not listed here that touches on something else that we are working on around credential innovation, which is what we are calling course level assertion. So providing individuals the ability to have a verified credential associated with course completion rather than having to wait until they've completed their degree. So it could be 2 years or 4 years, so that they are earning their verified credentials along the way and they're seeing the skills that they're gaining through those courses along the way. If you think about it, you probably are thinking this would be very valuable to current students to see along their degree journey. This is also something that we're looking at for students who may have stopped out. There could be a variety of reasons that individuals might have to stop out of their degree journey. And you can think about the negative connotation that's associated with stopping out of a degree program and how that may hurt someone when they're actually looking into employment opportunities. And what we want to do is change that narrative. We want to be able to give individuals access to the skills that they have gained through the courses that they have completed and be able to apply those skills and demonstrate those skills in career opportunities. Also be able to align those skills to occupations as you saw in our demo, and then be able to take those verified credentials and understand how that helps them progress along a degree journey in the future so that they may possibly re-enroll in the future whenever life circumstances allow them to do that. So we did ask the question, I would find value in having WGU award credentials and skills for passing each course within my degree program, and 86% of the students responded in the affirmative. We also allowed for an open text field that provided us even more robust information associated with the value of the Achievement Wallet. Because the clock's going down rather quickly, I'm not going to read all of these, but happy to share them in the future if anyone is interested. We got some incredible feedback directly from students, and you can see that on both of these slides. Our feedback is we're turning it directly into action through what we are calling enhancements and issues that we are putting together for the vendor that we're working with. And in the first beta, we had, over 200 enhancements and issues that we pared down to a nice round number of like 90. And they worked with us over the course of 3 to 4 months to actually implement all of the feedback and enhancements that the students provided into the system that would help create the most value to them. And we actually just finished our second beta a couple of weeks ago, and we're doing the same thing, though luckily the list is quite short this time. All right.
Okay, so do we have time for a quick benediction? I'm going to stand up real quick. Thank you again for coming. I just want you to know what you saw, we're just scratching the surface.
Yeah.
We're going to